section of Virginia, which had good soil and navigable rivers and shipped tobacco and other crops to England. Dependence on slavery. Even though only a small percentage of the citizens owned slaves, the agricultural economy depends on slavery. Population imbalance. There are many more slaves than slave owners. Slaveholders live in fear of rebellion. This fear caused local governments to make slave codes even stricter. Elected representative assemblies, starting with the House of Burgesses. Most local government was in the form of assemblies. Often these assemblies were bicameral. Bicameral legislature having two houses, with one house elected by the people and the other appointed by the royal governor. Northern identity, town life. Life for New Englander revolved around the meeting house and church, which were usually the same building. The meeting house, where church-going men walked together to make road, usually faced the town green, which was shared land that belonged to the town. New Englanders owned small farm for subsistence farming, producing just enough crops to survive, and lived close to their neighbors. Trade and industry. Unable to raise cash crops due to long winters and poor soil, New England depends on trade, mills, lumber, shipbuilding, fishing, fur trading, whaling, and craftsmanship. New Englanders were, on average, better off than Southerners. Limited use of slavery. With no large plantation, there were few slaves. However, northern merchants did engage in the slave trade and profit from it. Puritan values. New Englanders adopted the Puritan values of the hard work, modesty, and education. Massachusetts mandated school in any town of more than 50 households. Puritan value did not include tolerance of religious difference. Mandate to require usually by law. Middle economy identity. The middle colony linked northern and southern culture, mixed agriculture and industry. The middle colonies grew some cash crops, especially grain, as well as fruit and vegetables. They developed industries such as ironworking and forestry. Trade was made easier by access to Philadelphia and New York City, the largest port in the colonies and the center of shipping. Mixed use of slavery. Slaves were forced to work both in cities and on farms. Some were able to make money, and their slaveholders allowed them to work as longshoremen or shipbuilders in exchange for a portion of the slave's wage. A rare few slaves were able to save enough to buy their freedom. Mixed population. With large immigrant populations and the tradition of tolerance, the middle colonies were home to the most diverse populations. Mixed government. The middle colonies used a combination of assemblies, town meetings, and royal government. England expected to profit from its colony, so England passed the Navigation Act of 1651, making it illegal for the colonies to sail the countries other than England, use ships other than English ships, or go through ports other than England ports. The colonies soon saw that the act limited their wealth by cutting back free trade. Many resorted to smuggling, including illegal secret trade. Backcountry identity. The backcountry, or the western frontier, stretched along the Appalachian Mountains from the far north, from the far south, and was populated by recent immigration and former indentured servants. Although it wasn't very far west, it had a Wild West atmosphere. Few people had large farms or owned slaves. New and unique American identity. Even though the regional identity became stronger, a culture was evolving with common history from a shared English background, perception of cheap and available land, an emerging middle class from wealth and social mobility because of the lack of aristocrats and the use of slaves instead of lower class white workers. Powerful land owners because of the connection between land ownership and the right to vote. Social mobility among the white males from lack of hereditary title or classes. Tolerance, mostly, of religious differences due to diversity. Shared enemies from conflicted Native Americans and French and Spanish settlers. Apprentices to work for another in order to learn or trade. Women mostly worked in home, cooking, cleaning, raising children, gardening, making soap and candles, etc. Or running stores or inns in cities. Farming was mainly the job of men. Boys were often sent to apprentice with a master craftsman, while girls learned their crafts at home. The English Bill of Rights. Change in English means change in the colonies. In 1685, James II became king. He wanted more control. He made the northern colonies the dominion of a few of New England. A royal colony with very limited self-government. People on both sides of the Atlantic were unhappy with him. After 3 years, Parliament ousted him. His daughter and son-in-law, Mary and William of Orange, invaded and took over in the Glorious Revolution, called because it took place without bloodshed. Parliament, the legislative body of Great Britain. In 1689, William and Mary approved an English Bill of Rights, which limits the power of the monarchy and asserted parliamentary power. The British government continued to make laws governing trade with the colony, but there was little enforcement in the colonies. A hands-off approach called salutary good health. Still, colonists believed they were full citizens of England and entitled to all of the same rights as someone living in England. Considered one of the most important legal documents in history, the Magna Carta in 1215 forced the king, at the time King John, to obey the law of the land. Ever since, British citizens have been determined to limit royal power and protect their rights. The Great Awakening and the Enlightenment. The Great Awakening was a religious movement led by traveling ministers in the 1730s and 1740s. Through the fiery sermons at outdoor revival meetings, Americans were encouraged to seek a personal relationship with God. Most famous ministers: John Edwards of Massachusetts, George Whitefield of England. The Enlightenment was a philosophical movement and emphasized human reason, scientific analysis, and individualism, and applied the law of nature to politics and society. Led in England by such philosophers such John Locke, it held that social contract ensures citizens' right in exchange for obedience to the government. The Enlightenment influenced Benjamin Franklin, Thomas Jefferson, and most of the founding fathers. The Great Awakening and Enlightenment prompted America to debate political, societal, and religious questions. Both posed the idea there was equality, whether in the eye of God or the eye of the justice, among all individuals. The New York weekly journals containing the precious advice, foreign and domestic. Freedom of the press. John Peter Jangle, publisher of the New York Weekly Journal, was charged with libel. Libel in 1735 after printing negative statement about the governor. Libel, a printed statement that defamed or misrepresent. Since the governor was an appointee of the king, and it was illegal to speak negatively about the king, Jangle was put on trial. His lawyers, Andrew Hamilton and William Smith, urged the jury to determine whether or not Jangle spoke the truth, and convinced them that people had the right to do so. It was the beginning of freedom of the press.